Yeah. We want to dedicate to our son-in-law, Shemenachem, and our daughter, Chanala. Want to dedicate today's Shabbat. This week is their Shabbat Sheva Brachas, B'Shotay Mitzlachas. Everything should work out. With Menuchas Nefesh and Chavas Sadas, Gutes Zivugim, Eitz Pri Oise Pri, the Eibishter helfen, Gesundheit, Amen. Okay, this week's parsha is Vayeitzei. The Torah starts Vayeitzei Yaakov mi Beersheva Vayelech Harona. So you have to know, every time you want to go somewhere, you say Vayelech Harona. He went somewhere. What do you have to say? Vayeitzei Yaakov. He left here to go there. Obviously, the Torah is trying to tell us something. So first, Rashi says, Pono Hoida Ziva Ador. Rashi says when a tzaddik leaves the place, Oyser Roshim. Okay, so the question is why when Avram Avinu goes no Rosh, he didn't leave a Roshim. Yitzchak doesn't leave. Okay, Yitzchak is quieter, more introvert, but Avram Avinu didn't leave. The Torah is, of course, he left the Roshim. The issue is not Avram Avinu is a ish chesed, so he feeds everybody, he helps everybody. He's the address for any help, you need chizuk. So you go to Avram Avinu. When he's out of town, everybody feels it. That's not the chiddush. The chiddush is Yaakov Avinu Yoshev Ish Tam Yoshev Olav. He sits off a bank. He sits and learns in secluded. And then with Torah, he left. He's there. He's not there. Like who cares? He's not out there doing chesed. The teretz is Eina V'Zitz Den Land. Somebody that does it l'shem shamayim. He serves Hashem. It's the interior minister, but it shines up the place. You bring in a koil, you bring in a yeshiva, you bring in a cheda. The hevel p from Tanaikas Shabbat Rabbim, it all adds up. It puts life into place. Nitzchi is the life. Torah Chaim, living Torah, and that even if Yaakov leaves, is Pona Hoida Ziva Adora. You feel it makes a rosh. Then we have that's Vayeitzei. Then Vayeitzei Yaakov Beersheva. He left Beersheva. Why do you have to say that he left Beersheva? The teretz is there's two things over there. It says in last week's parsha that Yaakov listened. Vayishma Yaakov el Oviv ve'Imoi ve'elech peden Arom. Yaakov listened to Oviv ve'Imoi. He listened to his father because his father says, "Don't marry the people of Canaan. They're terrible midas. They have terrible midas. Go to Chorah." Right? And Rivka says, "Go because get away from me." See, there's a word over here. So let me just finish. Rivka says, "Leave because Esav wants your back. Esav wants to take your life." And it says, "Vayugav Rivka es divrei Esav batishlach." She says, "Hine Esav achicha misnachem lechol orgecha." Esav is contemplating. He wants to kill you. Now, when great machloikus over here, how, what, and when. But the point is that she's trying to save his back, and she says, "Please go away from here. By all means, go away from here. Ad shetoshuv chamas achicha, till your brother comes down." But Yitzchak is not aware of that, and Yitzchak tells him to go to marry. So he's going away. Vayeitzei Yaakov Beersheva, and then Vayelech Harona is for Yitzchak to get married. So Vayeitzei is for Kibud Aim, and Vayelech Harona is Kibud Ab. In the same pasuk, you have two mitzvahs, Av and Aim. Okay, now it could have said Vayeitzei Yaakov Beersheva Lichoron. That would be the proper diktuk, the proper grammatical way of expressing. Lichoron, he left here to Lichoron to go to Choron. What's his Vayelech Harona? So the Medrash says an interesting thing. The Medrash says that Yaakov Avinu was accompanied with a malach, and we all have those malachim. There's a special malach that accompanies us when we travel. What's the name of the malach? If you look at the Tfilas Haderech Siddur, and the Siddur in Tfilas Haderech, you have the letters Yuhach. Yuhach is the last words of Ki, Malach, of Yitzhak Baloch. Hashem commands the Malachim to Lishmorcha B'chol Derechecha, to safeguard you and to watch over you in all your ways. So what's the last? It's the last letter is the malach sort of following you. The last person in the group is always the person, the guard. So the malach, the last letters of ki malach of yitzav are the letters yuhach, yud, vav, hey, chaf, chaf sofit, lange chaf. So if you have yuhach and by Yaakov, where do you see? You see it right here. It says vayelech charona. The word vayelech, and he went to Choron, is extra. It should have said lichoron. He left this place, which is Be'er Shova, lichoron, to Choron. That's the way to say it. But if you say vayelech choron, which letters are extra? In the word, if you say lichoron, the word vayelech has a lamed. The lamed we use for lichoron. So which letters are extra? Vov, Yud, and Langechof, right? And then Chorona, and the extra hey at the end is also extra. That's the letters Yuhach. When you go travel, you have Yuach that follows you, the Malach called Yuach, that's what follows you. That's the Kimaloch of Yitzavaloch. Yaakov had that, and we all have that. But the Torah wants to teach us there was a Malach specially, and as the Torah says just a little later, Hashem promises him, I'll take care of you, I'll go with you, I'll bring you back, and Hashem will be with you, and so on and so forth. Next pasuk. So Rashi says, and before next pasuk, Rashi says, he went out to go to Choron. What does Rashi say? Insinuating that he didn't make it to Choron. So what happened? He went out to Choron. He just went out to go to Choron, but he never made it there, according to Rashi. Why wouldn't he make it there? Well, he stopped off on the way. What was the stop? So next pasuk, he encountered a certain place. It's sort of, he showed up there like uncalled for, right? So let's first go Vayivka b'mokim. Rashi says Vayivka b'mokim that, okay, the long Rashi says, I'm not gonna just say it very quickly outside. He encountered the place, Mokim Shespal voice of what, I'm not going to daven there, I'm going to pass by without davening there. And the question is, what was he thinking before? He was going to go straight to Choron without davening? What you go? So what's the shot over here? I made a bracha there. Rashi says, Hara Maria, and Rashi says it's Lashon Tefillah, so he wants to, and Rashi says one more word that he did, he was Masakan Tefillas Arabis. The land sort of jumped. In other words, he didn't go there, the land jumped to him, sort of, and how Rashi says the whole world, the whole Eretz Yisrael, later in by the Malach, we'll get to that. So I don't want to jump ahead, but the point is that he came to this place and he came to daven over here. What was Mikora Maikasava? What was he thinking before? Why? Right? It says. Let me just finish the pasuk and I'll elaborate. He slept over there, because the sun set earlier. Hashem wanted to sleep. In the middle of the day, in the afternoon, he set the sun and it became dark and he went to sleep. He took from the stones, you have to pay attention, me'avnei, that's plural. Later, I'm just going to go ahead for just a drop. We're jumping ahead to the next page. And here's the thing. Vayashkim Yaakov wakes up in the morning, only one stone. And Chazal learned from here that it was Avnei was a few stones, 12 stones, and it turned into one stone. Okay, we'll get back to that. He put it Mirash. What's Rashi Sov? The word Roish. Rashi Sov comes from the word Roish. He put it around his head. Rashi says why? Because Chayis Rois. I want to elaborate in every part over here. Vayishkav b'mokamu, and he lied down in that very place. Now, Rashi elaborates on that. So let's break up let's take apart the whole pasuk and unpack it, and we'll get some understanding of it. First of all, Vayivka b'mokim, he came to daven. How could it be my parents understood that you can't get anything light without davening, and Yaakov says, "I must daven because I don't want anything for free. I want to invest, and if I don't daven, it should be that al halnar hazez palolta. I want to daven because if I get it without davening, I won't appreciate it as much." And he wants to daven for shmira, for zechus, for atzlocha and bracha and gesund and to be able to build a bayis nem b'Yisrael, Vayeitzei and everything else. So now let's look at Vayolon Shom Kibar Shemesh. He went to sleep. Why did he go to sleep? I want to answer a drop later. Vayikach Mavna Mokem, he takes the stone, says Rashi, because of the Chayis Rois. Well, Avram didn't travel. Avram didn't need stones around his head. So Chazal teach if somebody's mashbia somebody, if I make you swear, where Yaakov Shoveli swear, and he swore, and he didn't keep his promise, he didn't keep his word, and therefore he broke it. So if you make somebody swear, there are many stories. We have to be cognizant. There are many stories that people said, if you're going to swear, forget it. I'm moichel all the money. I don't want you to swear because I know you're swearing false. And if I make you swear, and I know you're swearing false, so you're going to suffer and I'm going to suffer. And for the Gemara says, from what do you suffer? From Chayis Rois. So Yaakov Avinu made Esav swear, and Esav doesn't keep his word. So Yaakov is going to suffer. He's afraid of suffering from Chayis Rois. So he puts a boundary around him with stones. It should watch over his head. Now, Rashi says, so Chazal teaches 12 stones, and each stone said, please, I want you to sleep on me, I want you to stay by me, and so on. And Yaakov Avinu, Hashem made a nace, and what happened after they quarreled about their place? So Yaakov Avinu, what happened? So Yaakov Avinu, Hashem made that it became to one stone, has seen the pasuk. We saw on the pasuk, he took the one stone instead of over here, Avnei Hamokim, and now is one stone. Now, the kasha is, so what's the, I'm sorry, so what's the teretz? The teretz is that it was a few stones, but now we turned it into one stone. Now it's all peaceful and sort of two hands, two fingers. Everybody fulfills their mission. Now, you don't have to sleep on every part of the pillow, but I'm part of the pillow. If I'm part of the stone, it's considered that he's sleeping on me. If it's a different stone, he's not sleeping on me. I want the tzaddik to sit in my chair. I want him to sit in my car. I want him to come and visit my house. I want the bracha. And if the tzaddik came and made a bracha, then he learned there and he made the place holy and he made the place alive. I want that. But if it becomes one, so he doesn't have to go into every room. He doesn't have to go into every corner. He sits down. It's considered the bracha is shoyed on the whole stone. That's the teretz. But the kasha is, why didn't you take this nace and upgrade it? If you have a tzaddik and you want him in your house, I get it. But you want him to sleep on a stone? Why can't you put some cushion there, some pillow, make it comfortable, right? And add on a good water mattress, right? A blown up mattress, a good geschmack, and add on, with massage. The whole works, and put a tent around it. Why it's a very narrow nace? And the animals could go around the stones. I mean, it can climb over. Why can't you make a total nace? And the teretz is, if there's quarrel, it can never end up comfortable. Somebody's going to stay hurt. It's a yes, we understand. Yes, the shalom. Yes, it's on my name, but you can't upgrade it. The maximum you can ask for, it should be one. You can't ask for comfort. You can't ask for extras. You can't ask for any benefits after that because there was a quarrel. If you had done it to prevent the quarrel, that would be, then you can ask for all the comfort in life. Okay, right. Vayishkav b'mokem mahu, and he lied down that place. Says Rashi the Chazal that 14 years he'd never slept. This is the first time he lied down. What does that mean? He sat on a chair and a bench and but he didn't. But over here, Vayishkav b'mokem mahu. Now this is very, very, very telling. Why didn't he sleep there? Do you have a tiller? Maybe. If not, I'll take my phone. Maybe. If you have a tiller, please. David HaMelech says, David HaMelech swears sort of, in the Shir HaMalus we have it, It's the big Shir Amalis. Where is this? Kuf Lamed Beis, 132. It says, Shir Amalis. Zechor Hashem leDavid, remember David. Eis kol unoisai, all the pain and suffering he endured. Asher nishbal Hashem, right? He promised Hashem, he swore to Hashem, Nodar, he vowed, La'avir Yaakov, to the stronghold of Yaakov. What did he swear and vow? Im ovoi boil base, if I'll come in the tent of my house. Im el, that means my room, my sleeping quarters. Im el al eres yitzui, if I'll bichlal go on eres, a bed yitzui, a spread out bed. Then they used to spread out straw and so on. If I go onto my bed, that means I'm not even stepping to my bedroom, and I'm not going to, of course, not going to sleep, go lie down on my bed. Im etin shnos leina, if I'll give shnos, shina, sleeping, leina to my eyes, lafapi, to my eyelids, tenuma, sleeping, slumbering. What, until ad emtza mokim lashem, until I find a place for Hashem, Mishkan is a resting place for the Shechina, Lavi Yaakov, to the stronghold of Yaakov. What does it have to do? Yaakov, what happened over here? David HaMelech looks at Yaakov, and he sees that Yaakov is looking for the place of the Shechina for Kodesh HaKadoshim. How it says that he fell asleep and vayachlim, and he had a dream. Okay, we'll get to the dream in a second, but it says after that, Hashem tells him he says Vayikas Yaakov, he woke up, and he says, Ochen yesh, indeed there is Hashem in this place. That I didn't know. What didn't he know? We'll get to that in a second. How trembling and fearful is a pachad noid, is sort of awesome. This place is none other than Beis Elokim, the house of Hashem. These are the gates to heaven, where heaven kisses earth, where all our tefillahs go up. Kodesh HaKadoshim and Hara Maria Mamish. How did Yaakov find that place? Mokim Shespal Avois, it's a place where they daven, there's Avodah Shebelev there. They served Hashem with the heart, with the full heart and soul. How did they find it? How did he find this place? David HaMelech came to a conclusion, because Vayishka B'Mokim, he slept in this place. This is the first time he slept, because he didn't sleep for 14 years. Why the cheshbon of 14? We have to get to that in a second. But the point is that he didn't sleep. Why? So, in other words, why didn't Yaakov sleep? Because he was looking for the place of Shechina, and after 14 years, he found it by not sleeping. So he fell asleep probably, but voluntarily he didn't go to sleep. He didn't make a Shem Yichud. He didn't do Hinne Muchrim Zuman to really slough away, to do that bagel around the clock and slough it out like to no end. No, he didn't do that whole Geschmack, with the whole works with the Koilis over there. He didn't do that with the ganze Geschmack, with the ganze bread. Why not? Because he was looking for Shechina. And there's no room for all that type of sleeping, a dream, I can sleep it out all. No. That's what David HaMelech thought. So David HaMelech promises, Ashenish Bal Hashem, he promises that what? If I'll go on to bed, if I'll let my eyes sleep, if I let my eyelids slumber, until when? Until I find a place where I need the Shechina here, so I won't sleep. He thought that's the key. And you know what he found out? He found out that Yaakov found out something else. And this is a little bit of a Hasidish, shita, but who's not a Chassid today? What's a Chassid? What's the Shaila? Pshat is azoi. I'm going to have to add on the next pasuk. You have to add it on. Vayachlim, he fell asleep. Vini sulam mutzav arza. I'll get back to Vayachlim. Vini sulam mutzav arza, and the sulam is faced earthward, and the veroisha magia shmoim, and its head, the top of the sulam of the ladder is reaching heavenward. The malachim are oilim, they're going up, they're ascending, and they're going down, they're descending. Now, I'm not going about the malachim, I'm just one aspect of this pasuk is, what did he see? Sulam Chazalti. The Sulam is what's it? 6 is 1940 is 136. It's Chasre, but Sulam is Widavav is 136, right? 136. We have Tshuva Tfilah Tzedakah. If you see in the Kabbalistic letters that you have by the candles, by the Chazan, you have the Lemtzeach Ben Neginas, you'll see 3 words: Koil, Tzoim, Mammon. All Koil is a voice. Tzoim is fasting. Mammon is tzedakah. So you have sorry, tshuva is the tzoim, fasting and doing tshuva. Koil is davening, and mammon is giving tzedakah. Tshuva tzedakah. It's all 136. Oini is also 136. So the side of Oini of Nisoyin of Oini is also. But let's put Oini aside. I don't want to get about Oini right now, but maybe later. But so you have 136, 136, 136. Now everything you can use for fire as the energy, and money you can use for letoiv and lemutav, for the better or for the worse. Now it depends what if you serve Hashem, if it's shakoil borol chvoidoi, if it's ritzoyin is a kvoidoi, to fulfill His rots and His will, His wishes, that's called honoring Him. And that's the way you connect with Him. And if you want to connect with Him, you can use money as a means to connect with Him. How? You elevate this money by helping other people. So let's reiterate. Money and sulam is a ladder. You can go downwards with this money and bury yourself and everybody around you, or you can take it you can take it heavenward and take it all the way to heaven. And how by investing in Hashem's mitzvahs and investing in Hashem's children and so on. So, what did Yaakov learn over here? He says, "Man, noira, how awesome is this place?" And I never chapped. I'm not sleeping for 14 years in Shem Ve'ever, in Yeshivas Ever. I'm not sleeping because I'm trying to find Shechina. And what I learned by sleeping, how did I fall asleep in this place? Such a holy place. I fell asleep and Hashem says, no, Kiva Hashem, I put you to sleep because I want you to see something. What did I want you to see? I want you to see that you can sleep and serve Hashem while sleeping. That's the whole Lord of it. Yaakov Avin, and if David HaMelech is promising, I'm not sleeping because I want to find which mountain is Yerushalayim, which mountain is Haramri in Yerushalayim. I want to buy it off, and he went and bought it off. Because he had this revelation. But how so? You don't have to sleep. Yaakov Avinu comes and says, I feel bad, I fell asleep, but now I stop why I fell asleep. I fell asleep to see you can sleep in a place right over here, right now. Why? Because you get the Mokam HaMikdash even through sleeping. How do you get Mokam HaMikdash? If I go to sleep to have koiches, if I go to work so I can make money and feed my family, and that's the greatest mitzvah. Chesed starts at home. If I go to exercise, I go on vacation, all to serve the koini, to serve my Creator. That is ein zekim beis elikim. Sleeping and eating and doing whatever you have to organize yourself and working is the holiest thing in the world. With that, it's roisha magia shemoima. Yes, with money you can magia shemoima. Yes, with money is beis elikim. V'zeh shara shemoim. You can have shara shemoim. Where's this pasuk? V'zeh shara shemoim. You're standing by the gates of heaven, and you can walk in with the if you elevate Gashmis into Ruchnis. So we have to go back a little bit over here. I saw this week, Mamish Gavaldik. The Be'er Mayim Chaim says, I saw it inside. Vayachaloim, why did he sleep? Why did he have to come? Not Bahokitz. You show him that there's Gavaldik revelation of Mamish Shala Shemayim. Kodesh HaKadoshim. And the Teretz, he learned. He didn't fool around. It was holy as it comes. You can't, Bechir Shabbos. And the Teretz says, Palga Gufa, I'm sorry. We're coming into a new noise over here. Why do you call Ksuba Ksuba? Ksuba is a Ksav. You should call it Ksav, a written document. Why is it called Ksuba? So Chazal teach. Because it's a half a name. What's the half a name? That Rashi alludes to that, and when he says Pelegesh, or Livnei HaPilag Shim, and it's Chasa Yud. Peleg is Plag Shem, right? Half a name. Because Rashi says over there, it's Balik Suba, about Hagar and Keturah, like this, if it's the same, one and the same. So Rashi alludes to this. But I'm going to bring it over here. The Gemara says, Motza Isha, Motza Toiv, and that's a topic of Shidduchim, but the Gemara says also, I'm saying Shlomo Melech says, but the Gemara says, Zochu, if they were Zoicha, they merited the couple, is Shechina Shruya B'nei. And what is that, Zochu? We have the Yud of Ish, the word Ish, that man, right, which is male, and you have Ish, you have Aleph Yud Shin, you have the Yud in the middle, and then Isha has a Hey. The Yud of Ish and the Hey of the Ish word Isha together is Yud K, but that's only half. You take the word Kesuba, which has a Vav and a Hey, it's a Ksav plus the Vav and the Hey. Then you make it together, you put it together, you get Yud K Vav K Rachaman, and you bring a bracha and shtub, a blessing in the house. So that's why you can't go live with the wife without the ksuba. If she doesn't have it with her, or she has it in a designated place, or safe, or closet, a place, if it's not safe where you live, you can keep it in a different, apartment, room, place where you know for sure she has, not he has access to it, she has access to it. It's her mother's place, a place where it's safe. Why? Because if you don't have the Vav and the Hey, you have Ish and Isha, you only have half a name, half Palga, Kufa. You can't come, Hashem can't connect. You're missing the Shechina. You have to have the Yud and the Hey of Ish and Isha plus the Ksuba, the holiness of the Ksuba. Together with that, then you don't get Vayachalim. Vayachalim, he fell asleep and Hashem kept him not in a prophecy, more revealing prophecy. It was a sort of a sleeping prophecy, sort of a cholam, a dream. And why is that? In other words, usually a Navi transcends. It's like he transcends to a different sphere. It's not push to push the dream. But over here, Yaakov says, this is not a dream, this is true. I maybe thought about it. No, I didn't think. I didn't know, so I didn't think about it. I didn't have hirudim thoughts about it during the day, and therefore, if I don't have thoughts, it's not a dream that the dreams go lefi what you thought. I had no idea. I was clueless that this was a holy place. I would never lie down in this place. I thought it's a mountain. So therefore, the point is, if you have plag gufa, you don't get the Shechina. You need to have the wife. Yaakov wasn't married. Hashem couldn't show up to him b'hoketz. He had to come with him through a dream. Sure. The second half of the pasuk, V'yidei malach Elokim oilem v'yorin boy. So first kasha is oilem v'yorin boy. First, if Malachim come, they come from Shemayim. It should be Yordim V'olim. They first descend and then ascend. First go down and then up. So Rashi sort of answers it. Rashi says, there's Malach Eretz Yisrael, Malach. Now, I forgot which Rebbe it was. There was the Rebbe always had it out with a Satan. And the Rebbe says, I'm leaving to Eretz Yisrael because I can't, this is too much of that. So he left. And he saw the Satan by the border. He saw the Satan by the river. He saw the Satan by the Yabosha, the sea, by the ocean. And he said, "I'm leaving now. You can stay in Europe. For now on. I'm leaving you, and bug off." And then he comes to Yisrael with the boat, and he finds the Satan is there. He says, "What's going on here?" He says, "No. Over there is my duplicate. Over there is my representative. The real Satan I keep for Yisrael, because the Kedusha is so intense, so powerful. Only I can take care. Only I can compete." So there's the same thing. Zebu Mazeh Oselikim. There's just in a good way. The Malachim of Yisrael are a lot far more powerful than the Malachim of Chutz La'aretz. And if you want to go Nochmer, a person needs a lot greater shmira in a sense of the Satan, right? Because when Yaakov says, "Please help me, I should come back," he wants to be not only shalom, so Rashi is shalom minachet, right? I don't want to come back on a lower level. I'm going to these low lives. Please watch my soul. I shouldn't bashmutz my soul. I shouldn't dirty my soul. Okay, in Yiddish, geschmacke verpatschket, right? It's something that you can never take away this as much. There's always a stain. Not, please, I shouldn't be stained. That's what he asked Hashem. So the malachim of Eretz Yisrael are on a totally different level than malachim of Chutz La'aretz. So in a physical way, right, and in a spiritual, both ways, but there's certain malachim that are suitable for Eretz Yisrael and certain malachim suitable for Chutz La'aretz in terms of physicality and spirituality. So the Rashi says, right, Oilim v'yardim boy, they are leaving you because you're going Chutz La'aretz. The Yarden boy, and they're good. Thank you very much. Oilim the Yarden boy, they are leaving the ones, the malachim that accompany Eretz Yisrael are going up. That's where they go up first, and then the malachim of Chutz La'aretz are coming down. Okay, the kasha is the greater kasha is the second kasha over here is going to be you're smack in the middle of Israel. You're not by the border. The malachim should accompany you, malav you till the border, and over there they should go up. So you got the ladder in the wrong place. And the teretz is, first of all, Rashi answers. Rashi says the whole Israel folded under Yaakov. So he's right on top of the whole Israel. Sort of, okay, I'm not going to science here, it's not my field, but you can take this whole city and put it into one hand, in the terms of the material part of the world. But the kids are spinning. Okay, so you can understand it. It's explainable. In any case, so Rashi says, Koplo, the whole land was folded up under Yaakov. Now he's the end of the land. In essence, he's in the end of the land. And that's why he has to say goodbye. He has to depart from Malachim that accompany him in Eretz Yisrael. But I want to say a different teretz, which is a lot more practical for our days. You are where your mind is. And if your mind is going to Chutz La'aretz, you're ready not in Eretz Yisrael. You can be in Eretz Yisrael by the Koisel and be in China, I don't know, wherever your business is, wherever you deal, whatever deal you're thinking about. And you can be anywhere in the world. And if your mind is Libi B'Mizrach, if your mind is in Eretz Yisrael, you're there, right by the Kodesh HaKadoshim. So the Malachim had to leave him already now because his mind was to go to go right. So he comes. So we have to get back to Vayifka B'Mokim, which I promised. Vayifka B'Mokim, he encountered there. He says, the place where my Vayeitzei, my forefathers davened, I'm not gonna. How could it be? So he came back. The question is, Mikora Makasava, what was he thinking? So the Gemara says, there's machlokes in the Gemara, two shittas. First, Yilmoid Torah v'achakach yisi isha. First, he should learn, then get married. Or should he get married? Yisi isha v'achakach yilmoid Torah. And the Gemara answers, how long is not a sira, how long, bon lahu, it's Bovel, it's Yisrael is different. What's pshat? See, I have to say something over here because 100 years ago in the villages, there was no institute, university. People weren't educated who had money to pay for Malamdim. They had a basically reading, writing, and taich. They had a basic cheder upbringing, and that was it. Only the ones that were totally dedicated, they went away to yeshivas and so on and so forth. But the Hamoinam weren't that educated. They had the minimal, Jewish education, and that was it. When in those times, people, they were talking about getting married by 13, not by 20. So the question is, Isha by 13, and v'achakach yilmad Torah, or he should first learn till he gets like to 20, and then Yisa Isha. Or the Gemara, the Mishnah says in Ovis Ben Shmoynes Lechupa, okay, so 18. So the question is, even after 18 and 20s, Lirdif, and until 30, you're trying to pursue what fits your life? Where's your strong points? Where are your talents? What are you passionate about? What's your calling? You're trying to figure it out till shleishim. So this would be until shleishim. People forgive people until they're 30. They forgive you even the 20s because you're trying to find your life. So they give you yeshiva. So they help you out and they teach you and they invest in the youth, all sorts of programs for the youth. Maybe old businessman doesn't get all these benefits. And the answer is because you're going to pay back, you're going to give back to society. So we're investing in the youth so later you can give us back. But once you hit 30, we expect you to figure out your life and get your act together. After that, we're not so forgiving. So the question is, should you learn Torah and then get married? And, it comes a time you have to set up your life. You have to get married. You have to produce, bring the next generation, invest in them. So the question is, what's priority? So the Gemara says, how long valhu? What's pshat? And it's a show they had money. So if for a bacha, what does a bacha need? He needs a bench and shul, and they used to go to sleep in those times. They went to sleep wherever they found it, again, right? And if there were too many nails sticking out of this bench, they went to the next bench, and they tried to improvise a missile in the floor if it wasn't too cold, too hot, and so on. If you have money and you can provide achrayus for your wife and kids, you can't say I'm learning now. If you can learn and somebody can help you out financially, maybe. If not, go bring money, whatever it takes, right? So how long valhu? If in Yisrael you have money, so then you can yisi isha, you can marry and then learn weiter because you can provide. You have money put away, you can provide for your wife and kids, mela. But in Bavel, they didn't have money at the time. If they didn't have money, so first you'll let them learn. Let them gain something. Why? What are you going to give over your kids if you have nothing yourself? You didn't fill up your cup, and then get married. When you have a chrayis, you're going to work. You're going to provide them with a roof over the head and room and board, something to eat, and clothing and so on. Yaakov Avinu goes out with money, but then Eliphaz comes and takes it away. So Mikol Micah, but what did he was planning to go to Charan, direct to Charan. Why? I have money, I can get married and learn weiter. But Eliphaz took away all his money. Now he doesn't have money. If he doesn't have money, first he has to learn Torah. Then how are you going to go get married without providing? So he first went to learn Torah. Why 14 years? That's Rachel. 7 years for Rachel, 7 years for Leah. Why 7? Okay, 7 is a full number, but that's not for now. Can I go on? Can I go on? Because I'm just getting started. So, okay, I'm jumping because I can't. It's too late. Yaakov comes, and Yaakov yichad es liboy, right? He comes and takes off the Evan. What's pshat yichad es liboy? Where is it? He came to the Be'er, right? Where is that? Yaakov, and he took out the Evan. He took off the Evan, was way too heavy, and he gave them to he gave him to drink, and then Vayishakak v'Rachel, Yaakov kissed Rachel. So first, Chazal teach what means. I want to explain what yichad es liboy. Yichad liboy, there's two types of concentration. There's a concentration of very powerful. You take all the kavanas, your whole concentration, you focus very, very intensely, and you get it's so powerful because you take all the koiches and put it together. There's no amount that somebody. Now, I want to bring this little, that's physical and emotional and spiritually. Now, I want to bring this because the I think it was the Svasemis. I think they say that he once went up to Tzvarmshak and he went and picked it up. And I asked him, he was a Schwachenke, he wasn't a weak person, how could you pick it up? And he said he concentrated the whole koiches that he has into one hand, to one arm, and he was able to. This is the trick. I'm not perfect. I'm totally clueless when it comes to martial arts, what I saw myself of professionals breaking these bricks and splitting the wood and stone, and they explain that they concentrate all the koiches just like a tennis player concentrates the whole every iota, every drop, every limb in the body, every organ in the body, all concentrates to that arm that hits the racket hits the ball, and so on and so forth. It's a certain concentration that takes all the koiches together. Now Yaakov took all his spiritual koiches together, and then he yichadus liboy, right? He connected to his mind, and the spiritual intensity was able to win over any physical limitations. And then he's Vayishak Yaakov LeRachel, and he kissed Rachel, Vayisas Koila Vayevk. Now Rashi says he didn't have money. He felt bad for her. He wanted to give her. Now, here's the thing. I want to connect this to Yaakov comes to Lavan, and he says he wants to marry them. And Lavan, of course, Gevaldik, like he's very forthcoming and so on. And it says that Yaakov offers 7 years worth of work. Yaakov is very experienced. He's old, he's strong, he's mighty, he's powerful, talented, and Yaakov knows the tricks of the trade. And Yaakov says, I'll work for 7 years. And the Torah says here, Vayehav Yaakov es Rachel vayom e'evotcha sheva shonim. He loved her, and he says, I'll work for her for 7 years. And then it says, 2 psukim later, Vayavid Yaakov Rachel, he worked for 7 years. Vayiv ve'enov kiyom achodim be'ahavosoi oisoh. The fact that he loved her, it was like all a few days. In other words, the time flew by so fast. I want to connect this to the Vayishak Yaakov Rachel. Kasha, how did Yaakov kiss Rachel? He was a rabbi. You find a random girl, you don't even know, maybe she's not from your family. Yes, she looks spiritually uplifted, on a high caliber. She looks like she has what it takes. She looks beautiful. She has the inner chaim and inner beauty and charm, favor. She's very likable, and in a physical, emotional, and spiritual way. So I would want to marry her, but maybe it's not of the right ilk. Maybe it's not of the right. So before anything, you go over and you kiss her. What's pshat in that? So first of all, I want to jump ahead, and that's going to explain this pasuk. Yaakov works for 7 years, and he can't wait to marry the love of his life. It says clearly he loved her. It says it says Vayehav Yaakov es Rachel, he loved it, and therefore I want to work for her 7 years. And a pasuk later, it clearly says he loved her. Now, what means he loved her? And there's the key. You can love yourself. You need a beautiful opposite gender. A boy wants a girl wants a boy. Man, woman, man. In the same Isra, if somebody goes into a place and he finds the same Isra of looking at girls, so you shouldn't have a hira avera. The same Isra is looking at boys if their boys are drop dead beautiful. If they're so beautiful and you get carried away, I don't care even if you're straight. You're not going to look there. It's the same nisoyan. It's no difference. It's the same aveda. It's the same nisoyan. So the point is that if you love yourself and you need a beautiful human being, then that's loving yourself. You need this beautiful, teddy bear, hugging a teddy bear, kissing a teddy bear. That is totally wrong. But if you go, you love her. So again, if I want something for myself, and then I wait for it, and you tell me I'm going to have to wait for 7 years, every minute is a day, every day is a year. But if it's something that I love her, or she loves him, and there's a genuine, it's got to be totally genuine and sincere. There's a genuine appreciation and a It's not an infatuation. It's a general, deep, deep, everlasting feeling that you get. You feel like you're sitting in Olam Haba. It's not a Vedic feeling. It's not sinful. It's not low feeling. It's an uplifting feeling. It's a spiritual feeling. Next to this human being, individual, I want to shine just like him, her. I want to be uplifted just like him, her. I want to be so inspired like I was inspired now. In that moment, you feel life. You feel true life. And you know what? You don't have to talk to each other. You don't have to have conversations, and you don't have to feel, what am I going to say now then? No, I'm so comfortable just being in their presence. I feel alive. I feel I'm healing. I feel fulfilled. I feel my calling somehow. I feel this is my place. I'm in line. Aligned together with my spiritual is aligned with my physical. I feel this is my thing. This is mine. And when you're sitting in that moment, every moment it takes a second. If you have a schmooze with a person you adore and love, and they say, okay, time is up. What do you mean time is up? I just started. I'm so loving it. I'm so connected right now. It's 7 years felt like a second. Why? Because I didn't love myself. I loved him or her. So comes Vayishak Yaakov l'Rachel. What's wrong with a kiss? I said this many times already. The problem with a kiss is because you love yourself. What's a kiss? A kiss is you're sucking. That's what a kiss is. You suck. And when you suck, you're taking, you're not giving. You're taking, that's low. You're not a giver. But when you kiss a Sefer Torah, you're not trying to suck out the love out of the kid. I said this many times. Parents, children, teenagers, 17, 18, so on, you don't love me. What do you mean? I used to kiss you. I used to eat you up. No, you loved yourself and you kissed up the cute baby. You took, you didn't give. You gave also, but the kissing was because not so much I love the kid, but more that you love yourself, and you need the soft, the soft, silky baby, baby skin and baby cuteness and baby whatever charm that you needed right now to calm your nerves down. That was about you, wasn't about the kid. And the kid doesn't feel loved by that because you were kissing for your sake, not for my sake. And when you kiss Sefer Torah, Vayishak Yaakov l'Rachel, like the Gemara says, I forgot the name of the Gemara, that he used to dance with the kala on his shoulders because it was total ahava, not himself. It was l'shem shemaim. Now nobody should learn from that. But the point is that he had no self. It was nothing about taking. There was nothing about me. So Yaakov kissed Rachel because, let me add on a neifach, a spark. My mother was a teacher for many years. At the beginning, she taught, teenagers. But then she took a break when she had a house full of children. And then after that, she continued teaching. But they needed a teacher to give a varma background and a warmth and a love for Yiddishkeit, for Judaism and Torah. So they took my mother, and she would put in such a havat Yiddishkeit for a lifetime. So this is America, mind you. So when my mother has these little candies, and she'll give out a little candy for good behavior and so on, positive reinforcement. These Americana kinder say, I don't need your little candy. I can't, I asked my mother, I just got a whole bag, a whole pack. That pack will keep for half a year in the classroom. And over here, she has it for one afternoon, for one snack, right? So the question is, but my mother, being the professional, my mother knew that it's not about the candy, it's about the love, the meaning that you put into the candy. And my mother said, this candy, there's so much love. And the kids said they waited for that little candy with the big sack of candies in the backpack. They was in the briefcase, they were still waiting for my mother's candy. But there was one present that was worth more than anything in the world. And my mother used to say in Yiddish, it doesn't cost a penny, but it costs a lot more than money. You need a heart and soul for that. And my mother would give by a big achievement, or somebody that overcame a big nisayon in the class, and they could have gone, downwards, and they fled or they fought the Yetzer Hara and they overcame. My mother had that special, significant, worldly present. And what was the gift? a kiss. The kiss of the Mora was something that on the forehead, that was something that they cherished for a lifetime. They till today, decades later, people talk about that kiss. That's Vayishak Yaakov L'Rochel. Rashi says, I didn't have any money. So he cried, he wants to give. I'm not talking about the Churban Beis Hamikdash, another pshat, but I'm talking about he wanted to give. If you love somebody, what you want to do is you want to throw at them everything you have. You want to give them the ganze Haaretz. And Yaakov wanted to give, and he didn't have what to give. So according to my mother's pshat, he gave her a kiss because it's not money, but it's a lot. I'm giving you myself. The famous story. There was a baker in Eretz Yisrael, I think it was, that the baker, that he said that he survived Milchama, he didn't have what to eat. Everybody knows the story. And there was another person, a little older. He was a teenager, but there was somebody a little older than him, and he's felt he's falling. He's given in, he's dying. He can't, if he doesn't get a piece of bread, and he went and asked, nobody had. And he went over to this guy, and this guy, this whoever it was, told him, I don't have bread myself. He feels like he's dying also. But one thing I do have love for Hashem's children. And he went and he gave him a hug, a Varim a hug, and he held on to him for a few seconds. And he said, I love you, my brother. Keep the faith, keep holding. And he said that gave him a new life, a new koiches, a new meaning. That's Vayishak Yaakov L'Rochel. That's something a lot more. If it's about you, then waiting for Rachel for 7 years, that's like 7 lifetimes. But if it's about her, then it goes by so quickly because I'm giving you her space of time. Okay, now I want to jump from this to another thing, which it came to me. It says, Vayishak Yaakov. So it was about her. Okay, so it says, Ruvain Kira Hashem Esani. Right, Hashem saw my pain. So Reuben, see my son. Okay, there's a few pshatim here, but then comes Shimon. What's Shimon? Kishoma Hashem. Shimon is the word Shoma. Kishoma Hashem Kisnu Anochi. Hashem heard that Snu Anochi. It doesn't say. I said in the past with Rav Pam says this beautiful pshat about a kid in his class. Pam Zatzal from Shivin Tevedas. So there was a kid in his class. He felt sinua, and the mother came to complain or something, and he said no. Kids, you didn't call him as he called the other ones. He was shy. He didn't raise his hand and so on. And the kids, he made it his business after that to pay special attention, to give this the feedback, the reciprocation, as that I care about you and you're in my mind the whole time and so on. But the point is that it doesn't say Yaakov. It doesn't say Yaakov hated Leah, which he didn't. It says, Kishoma Hashem Kisnu Anoichi. I felt hated by, she saw Rachel as the main, she's the main wife, and Yaakov, he comes home after a whole day and he stays in her quarters. So that's obvious. But the point is, Kisnu Anoichi, even for feeling hated. Now, you have women, they feel unappreciated by the husbands and so on. Little do they know that men don't show such appreciation all the time. You have many when they show it because they hustle, they go out to work for many, many hours, and they travel to work and back. They're mooching themselves so they can put food and clothing, and they can provide their wives. They feel that's the love. I kill myself at work for you. I compromise for myself, but I all to do the good men, but hopefully most men like that they literally, when they get money, they don't think about spending. You have men that, a lady in general, when she gets, you want to take a second job. I'm providing for the house, and she works. And many women, the husbands say, "Go get yourself a job." For that, and then go out spending spree, and then go Black Friday, go run for Matthias over there, go sales. but things that you don't, it's not absolute that you need it, but a crank, right? A man in general, if he's acting like a man, if he's in his masculinity, he doesn't think when he works and he makes money, when he earns the money, he doesn't think about buying for himself. He thinks right away buying for his wife and kids, for his family. And he's not thinking about going on vacations or, well, when he's in his femininity and when he's taking, in that moment, he's going to think about that. When he's in his masculinity, he's not going to think about that. He's thinking about providing for his wife every second, and that's the way he shows love. And I want to express this in the light of Yaakov Avinu comes. And Yaakov Avinu says, I'll work 7 years. I'm investing for the love of my life for Rachel. And I'm proving it to you that I'm ready to work for 7 years. I want to earn her hand in marriage. I want to earn the right to marry her. And he's working for 7 years, and he works 7 years, and then Lavan fools him with Leah, and that's a story in of itself. And then he doesn't drop Leah, which he could have said Mekach Toes, but if Hashem put her on my plate, that's what Hashem wants. Okay, there's more pshatim, but let's suffice it to say that he didn't get rid of her, right? And he took on Rachel, and he says when he'll take what's it called? Malashua, the week will end, and then I'll take on I'll marry Rachel. Lavan tells him you'll marry Rachel. For what? For another 7 years of labor. He could have said one thing. I worked for the love of my life. You want me to marry Leah? I can marry Leah, but I'm not working one day, not a minute for her. I would never want her as a shidduch. And it's all, it's not my shidduch. I don't connect. No, I don't feel love for her. No, I have I'm Rachel, and that's it. But you want me to marry Leah? I'll do a ches. I won't throw it out the door, although she fooled me. I won't say mekach toes. I'll be nice, but I should work for another 7 years? Of course not. So, and if you want, I'll work. If you dafka, I'll work a week. Why? I don't find her being more worth than a week or a month or a year. So why did Yaakov do that? Because she'll feel bad. That's why, because she'll feel bad. What's she'll feel bad? She'll feel that for Rachel, he's working 7 years, she's worthy. For me, he's not working, he's going to work for a day, a week, a month, a year. That's my garnish, I'm nothing. So Yaakov didn't want to give her that feeling, not to embarrass Leah, to show that she's second class, she's lower quality. So Yaakov said, okay, 7 years, 7 years. So Leah shouldn't feel bad. So you're telling me Yaakov hates Leah? No way. He's trying that she shouldn't feel bad, but nevertheless, Leah feels sinua noichi. She feels hated. Not that somebody hates her, but she feels hated. And if she feels hated, then Hashem says, if you're in pain, kishom Hashem, and how kishom Hashem kisnu noichi, and she said he gave me a name, then Levi, because as everybody knows, many men never acknowledge that they're married until you have 3 kids. 2 kids that fills up the 2 hands of the mother, of the wife. Now 3 kids you have to take. Now you have to. What did it take? The older kid because I'm busy with the 2 babies. Okay. Then Vatar oid vatelid beit vatoimer. And she says by the 4th child, Hapam oidas Hashem alkein kol shmo Yehuda vatamid miledes. So first of all, this is important. The Chazal teach that she's the first one that gave Shvach Vaydo thanks to Hashem. Hapam. Torah says Hapam now. In other words, before never happened. That can't be true. How could it be true? How could it be true? You told me Avram, the whole Avram Judaism is thanking Hashem. Hakoros HaToiv. You're going to tell me everybody was a Kofi Toiv? Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov didn't know what thanks mean? This Leah figured it out now after 4 kids, something that the Ovis and the Mois before didn't have? Of course not. There's no way. The teretz is there are 2 ways. It looked like she gave birth B'teva. In other words, natural cause and effect, and she gave birth. The verses by Soramino Akol Ein Lo Volod, she doesn't have anything working for her. Rivka is also Akol. Everybody, Rachel is Akol. Everybody can have children. but Leah sort of had babies right away. And by the way, she had it in 7 months or even less, different midrashim, mamish every few months, not once a year, at least 2 babies a year and so on, or maybe 7 months or 6 months, whatever the shitas are. But she had in the span of a few short years, they were very close in age, extremely close in age. Now, by us, if there's a year apart, or 10, 11 months, we say extremely close in age. No, this is a lot closer. So she sort of didn't have any issues. Although it's because my mother always says, either you cry before the wedding or you cry after the wedding. Leah cried before the wedding. Rachel had to cry after the wedding because she didn't cry before. I'm not going into that right now. But the point is, Leah already cried. That's why I always tell, start davening for shidduch many years before. What do you have to come to the time and then wait? Start davening many years so you have the crying before. In any case, so let's go back over here. So she sort of, Avram Avinu, Yitzchak Avinu, Yaakov Avinu, Sarah, Rivka, and Rachel, they had things, nisim going on. I don't know about Rachel so much, but it looked natural to. Leah didn't have open nisim. To say thank you when you have an open nisim, that's one thing. But Leah get natural birth. She didn't wait years after the chasana. So that's something that nobody, well, I have to thank when you do a major big time nace, but here's no big time. So Leah is the first one. What does she say? Hapam oides Hashem, I'll thank Hashem, I'll king Karosh Moida. She thanked Hashem. So what's pshat? Another pshat over here is that Leah was Hapam oides Hashem. It's not that they didn't thank. She came to a conclusion that because I got more than I deserve. She thought 4 wives and 12 children. So 12 children is going to be divided, 3 kids per mother, per wife. But over here, she got the 4th one. So now she chaps that the 4th one, that means somebody of the wives are not going to have 3. Somebody's going to have less than 3. And if somebody has less than 3, that means it's not 3. It's not for sure that everybody gets 3 divided by 3. And if that's the case, you're not divided by 3, then that means I could have had less than 3. I could have had 0. I could have had 1. I could have had 2. I could have had 3. But the fact that I get 4, that means it's not for granted 3 each. And therefore now she chaps, I should have thanked Hapamoid is Hashem, not for the 4th one. Good morning, America. You wake up now to thank by the first 3 you didn't thank. Hapamoid is Hashem. Now I understand that I should have I should have thanked Hashem for the first one. Why? Because I received from Hashem a lot more than my worth, a lot more than I'm entitled to. Vatamid miledis. If the Gemara says if you don't ask, you have to thank and ask. You come to chasana of your children, the whole night you're thanking and begging for more, begging for more. That's why we have sim shalom toivu bracha. Not only kli machzik bracha, not only a conduit to keep all the brachas that you just davened for, but it's also to ask Hashem, please give us more. Because if you stop, why? What's the pshat? If you thank Hashem, you think, oh, that's it. I'm over. I'm done. Now I can rest. No, yeah. The Gemara, the Torah says, "Vayesha bikish yakaleshu v'shal." No. You can't rest. It's not over. Even after the chasana, you still thank and daven. Even when you had your babies and you have your indikla, you never stop thanking and davening. That's what it's all about. And the person that says, "No, now I'm good," sort of, Rabbi Shalom, thank you, but I don't need your guidance anymore. I don't need you to be by my side anymore. I don't need you to help me in every step of the way. That person, Vatamim Miledis, you stop seeing brachas in life. Everything goes downhill. So you have to daven. Rachel chap that, and Rachel says, Rachel has a baby, and Rachel says, where's this? Where's the duday after the dudoim? Vayiskar Elokim es Rachel, he remembered Rachel, Vayishmal Elokim, he listened to her, and he opened up her rachma, or her stomach, her organ to have babies. Vatar Vatelibein, she had a baby. Vatoim also Elokim, Hashem covered over my chepa, my shame. She called him Yosef Leiman, Yosef Benacha. What is she saying? Thank you, Hashem, but right away, Yosef Benacha, please give me another child. You daven, thank, and you ask for more. If you don't ask for more, as if you don't need more, as if you're good to go. I don't need your help, Hashem. No, I need your help every step of the way. So we have to finish it, but I do want to say a story too because it's important and another word to it. So by that's it comes with the names. Then it says Rachel saw Yaakov. She didn't give birth to Yaakov. She didn't bring him babies. She was jealous. She tells Yaakov, please give me children. If not, I'm considered a dead person. Now, what's going on? What's going on? She tells Yaakov, if you don't give me children, I'm ace. Okay, the Gemara says, if somebody doesn't have children, chashav kameis. Why? A mace can't give. And if somebody doesn't, you don't have who to give. But we said many times, if you give some other children, what's enough children you give? If you give, you're not mace. The Gemara says, asuma, right? So, saginor, somebody that's blind is also chashav kameis. Only chashav kameis. If you don't give, but if you do give, then you're not chashav kameis. So, the point over here is, Yaakov gets angry. He loses his patience. He says, instead of God, that I held back from you to have fruits. I mean, babies. What's pshat in this? What's pshat over here? Chazal teach that Hashem punished Yaakov l'maisa. It turns out that the point is that Yaakov shouldn't have screamed at her and get angry at her and belittle her. Yaakov tells it's all your fault. See, Pasha Pshat is very painful. Yaakov says, Ashimona mimeich. It's your problem, not my problem. Why? Because I have children. The problem is with you. You can't have children, apparently. But either do tshuva or somehow work it out. But I'm set. It's you have the issue. So what do you want from me? But the harshness of it. But I think Yaakov, that was so forthcoming and so gentle with Leah. Well, not so gentle because he tells Leah, what a Ramois bas Ramoi in the morning. How do you fool me? And she tells him, well, we're both worth our money because you fooled Esav. So if you fooled Esav and I fooled you, now we're both, it's one up, we're even. But so what's that? You're my mishgiach. You're telling me off about I fooled Esav? No, she's telling him, if you took away the bechorah, and you bought off the bechorah, and you took away the brachas, that means you fulfilled. Yaakov is for Rachel, and Yisrael is for Leah. So now you have to marry me. If you took the bechorah, you took the brachas, you have to marry me because I'm the older sister. Esau was supposed to marry me. There's a word. Okay, I can't get distracted, off track. But the point is that she's telling. So after that, Yaakov didn't divorce or let her go. But so the thing over here, Yaakov is saying, Yaakov is so gentle to Leah, not to throw her out, and he's working for 7 years not to make her feel bad. It doesn't make sense that Yaakov lashed out at Rachel. It doesn't. It's the love of his life. So what's Yaakov saying? First of all, you can say, Pasha, psychologically, he got emotionally involved, and he wanted to help her, but he was helpless, and so on. But the Hasidic Sfarim say a lot better. The Yaakov gets angry at Rachel and he says, what is he saying? He's not saying that it's me. No, he's saying Elikim is the one Did I stop you having children? Hashem stopped you from having children. Am I instead of Hashem? No, it's Hashem that stopped you. Why so? Because she says, bring me children. Yaakov says, That's a maimin? Amina b'Hashem? V'im ayin? If you go to a tzaddik and he gives a bracha and he davens for you, is there even a way of ayin? You don't believe in Hashem. You don't have to be talking that Hashem can deliver. You still say v'im ayin. You put your tanai kafel over here. If you really believe, then you'll have a kid. I can say for daven from today and tomorrow, it's a likim. It's stopping from you because you're not believing enough. You got to believe more. So, what do you have to believe? I have to go a little deep. First, you have to believe Hashem is competent. He could if he wants, and you have to believe that he loves us, and no prejudice, no mamish. He's fair, and he loves us. Later, Rochel, it says, Vayev gam es Rochel mi Leah. He loved Rochel also from Leah. He loved Rochel also from Leah. Avadanish. He loved Rochel more than Leah. He showed it with his deeds, with his behavior. He went to Rochel. He was always with Rochel. And even when Rochel passed away, he went to Rochel's maidservant Bilhah because of Rochel. So how could it be gam es Rochel mi Leah? He loved also, the tendency is gam. He loved Rochel as it is. Another reason why he loved Rochel is gam. Another reason, mi Leah, because of the story with Leah. What was Leah? He gave away the simonim. What's the simonim? There's 3 simonim in a Jewish home. There's challah, nida, and adlakas neiros, right? We said this many times. By the way, it's dedicated to Shimi and Chani and Chanala. Shimi and Chanala. Chanala, the word Chana, is the code that Yaakov gave Rachel. That is the code. What's the code? Chana is chalas. Nun is nida, and He is adlakas neiros. That is the code. So there is 3 things in this. By the Mishkan is made after, in other words, a duplicate of the house of Avraham, Sarah, and Yitzchak and Rivka. What was there? There was challah, brocha mitzuya be'isa. That's the challah. There was a blessing in the isa. So there's 2 things in the blessing in the isa. First of all, mizborich b'meyav. There's a thing that you can eat less, but you can have a blessing. You feel full and you get all the nutrients. You don't have to blow up and be obese, and you can be healthy and still have the fulfillment as if you're not going to sleep hungry every evening. So that's a bracha mitzuya isa. Another bracha mitzuya be'isa. It's sort of a samech b'chelke. That's the first thing. And the second thing, bracha mitzuya be'isa, means that it stayed fresh mishabbos l'shabbos, like the lechem aponim in the Beis Hamikdash, and the shulchan in the Mishkan and the Beis Hamikdash. That was the same bracha that was by Solomon. It repeated itself in the Beis Hamikdash. And also onan kosher ala oil. There was the onan that means the symbol of Shechina there. If something over you, you're humble. You have something over you, like a couple, or tichel, or shetel. It's something over you. And if you have something over you, that's submission, and that's Shechina. The Shechina rests there. The Shechina was in Sarah Meinu's house and Rivka Meinu's house, and so too in the Beis Hamikdash. And when they did the Egel, so they lost it. Sukkot came back because the Shechina came back. That's the Yom Tov Sukkot. So we have over here. Yabrocha mitzubisa. On kosher and neighbors dolkas mishabbos l'shabbos. What does that mean? I want to add on a little diak. It doesn't say neighbors dolkas like ner tamid. It's not. It doesn't. Get turned off, the fire doesn't go out. No, it says mishabbos l'shabbos. That's nearest dol. What's Pshat Shabbos? Why do we light Shabbos candles? One of the reasons, of course, because the chet, light is a symbol of neshama, which is everlasting neshama, right? That's forever netzach. And the ner is the body part, but the light, the fire rises. The candle sort of, and the oil is a very shuman Shemen, it's a gashmistic thing. It pulls you down with gravity, right, to the pinnacle of the earth. But fire goes the opposite direction, upwards. So that's a symbol of Shemayim, everlasting fire, and so on. So life. So if you have life, Chava brought death to the world by eating it and feeding Adam Rishon from the fruit of knowledge, of the Eitz Hadas, and therefore she has to, and that was Erev Shabbos, so she has to repair it by fixing it, by lighting candles, which is life. So that's sort of repairing the death that she brought with life. But there's another reason. There's a reason Shalom Bayis. There's another reason because of Shabbos, right? Because of Shabbos, any prestigious event has candles, right? Candles is romantic, it's prestigious, and it's kingly. So you have lights. But there's another reason that besides the candles, you want to turn on the lights, the Con Edison lights. Why? Because Shalom Bayis. So your wife should know how, if she should aim. I'm just kidding. But you should patch and go flying all over. And the point is, if you bump into each other and all the food spills, chas v'shalom, don't be shalom bayis. And therefore, the candles is a symbol of shalom bayis, of dolkas mishabbos. But why? I want to add on. Why dafka me'erev Shabbos le'erev Shabbos? Why? It's mishabbos. Why is erev Shabbos? So the Gemara says the Satan specifies, and he puts an emphasis on making bringing quarrel right before Shabbos Shalom. Shabbos is peace, and right before he wants you to go into the Shabbos with a quarrel and ruin the whole mood and the atmosphere. So when the husband goes to shul, comes back home after and he no talking terms and so on and so forth. So you have the three things in Chana. That's the code, and Rochel took that code and gave it away to Leah. And Yaakov says, Vayev, he loved Rachel because he loved her before marriage. But Vayev, Yaakov, and he loved Gam es Rachel. He loved, another reason why he loved Rachel, Leah for giving away the code of Chana, the code of Shalom Bayis, and the code of Bracha Mitzuyim Be'isa, and the code of Nenes Dolkos Mishabbos L'Shabbos. She gave away the secret of success of a house, of a Jewish home. What a Jewish home, the base is, the Torah and the Torah avoiding Milas Chasadim. She gave away the core basis of the Jewish home, and she gave that away to Leah. And Yaakov says, what? She gave away the whole thing to Leah? So how could it be? And from Leah comes, because she cried, Hashem davening is so powerful. She gets Kahuna, she gets Leviah, she gets Malchus, she gets Mashiach ben David, she gets everything, everything. So what's left for Rachel? Hashem says, Rachel, you took away the embarrassment of Leah, and you covered up that embarrassment. I'll bite for a few hours. For that, I'm going to give you Mishkan Shila, that's Yosef. Yosef is going to be the ganze Zach, and the Beis Hamikdash is going to be in the Chelkas Binyamin. That's Rachel's children. So they get back. If you cover Yenim's busha, Hashem pays back. So true, they're Mashiach ben David, but whose abode is it? Whose territory is it? It's Chelkas Binyamin, the Beis Hamikdash. Yes, it's in Yehuda, but the actual Beis Hamikdash is Chelkas Binyamin because of Rachel. So Vayev Gam es Rachel mi Leah. He didn't hate Leah. But she felt, and she got everything because. But if Rachel would have had more emunah b'tochen, Yaakov says, then you'll have your baby, and then she had more emunah b'tochen. How did she fix it up? By believing if Hashem didn't give her a baby, Hashem, He knows better, and He knows how, what, where, and when. She understood that if I wouldn't give it away, then, okay. So I want to finish this off. What should she understand? She understood, but the fact that I gave away my life, my future, the generations, the shift they call. So she thought she gave it away. What did she understand after? She understood that she had no way, she had no way of giving birth. She understood that she's not going to have even one baby. So the word is, the fact that I covered Yenim's busha, in that schus I had a baby. And the schus that I had, I covered over Yenim's busha, I got not only a baby, two babies, because Yosef Hashem li bein acher, but I had that the Shechina rested the Shekhinah rested in my chelik, in my children's chelik, Mishkan Shila a few hundred years, and later on in Yerushalayim, the Beis Hamikdash. Now, how did she get her baby Lamaisa? So we said, Vayeitzei Elokim es Rachel. What happened? The Dudaim. Reuven brings Dudaim. Dudaim is flowers that you put it into tea, and it makes the person pregnant. And she wanted some of that. So Leah says, where is this? Leah says, not enough, you took away my husband. And you're going to take away my dudoy. Let him live with you. What happened over here? Hashem says, what? Leah, you're saying that Rachel took away? Obviously, Rachel did it in such a secret way. Rachel fooled Leah by telling Leah. Rachel fooled Leah by telling Leah, making it sound, no, really, Yaakov wants to do the right thing. I know he loves me, but it's not right that Yaakov should marry me. He should really marry you. You're the older one. He should marry you. I can't jump ahead of you. And she made her feel that this is the right thing. And Yaakov, likes me, you were sisters. I went out to the water first, and he saw me. But he didn't put his eyes on me. He didn't kiss me. He'll see you. I'm telling you, no, he's a tzaddik. You think he cares this? He's the facial features. He's looking at what kind of makeup you put on. If your gold teeth are matching your gold pocketbook and your gold buckles and your gold shoes and earrings and bracelet and nose ring, he's not into that at all. And therefore, so she persuaded Leah, no, that Yaakov really loves you and he's good. When Rachel figured out that Leah thinks that I took away her husband, that means she never chapped that they did her a favor. She just thought that's the way it should be. She davened and she gets it, and that's it. Rachel could have said, Leah, I want to spill the beans once and for all. You got everything, I got nothing. You have Levi, you have Kuna, you have Malchus, you have everything, I have nothing. How could it be that you're accusing me to take away your husband? You took away my husband. And Rachel kept quiet. Is Vayeitzei Elokim es Rachel. Even the Midas Hadin said, wow, I have to acknowledge, hands up, you get it. I give up, that's it. You get. Why could Rachel do that? Why could she refrain from answering back? Boy, do you need every drop of emunah b'tochen in this whole wild world, in the whole entire world, to muster up such courage and gvura, real gvura, to withstand and not answer back when she's not only right, she lost everything. She's everything at stake, and then with that, keeping quiet, boiling piv b'shas meriva, she received everything. Okay, then, I'm going to finish here, but I want to go one topic and say a story about it. This story I wanted to say about a half a year ago. Times of the 3 weeks, Tisha B'Av. This and many other stories, I didn't get to say it. And it fell into me tonight, the story again, and I thought, how amazing. So I want to give two stories with two pshatim over here. One, there's a story, famous story, first about Matzah Isha Matzah Tov. Story, and then I'll explain what Matzah Isha Matzah Tov is. Sheva brachas. The story goes, I think it was the stipler, that the stipler, somebody came over to the stipler, Shiloh. What's the Shiloh to the stipler? The boy came chassid, tap everything, and became very sick. And even if he's going to stay alive, he's going to mutcha his whole life. Terrible, terrible situation. So the Bacher loved the girl, and he said, I can't do it to you. How can I ruin her life? So she said, there's no way, no breaking off the shidduch. You want to break off the shidduch. Why couldn't you suffer? Get married to a normal guy. You're a top girl. 100 bachim will right away get online to do a shidduch with you. She said she's not hearing of it. So they went to the stipler. What's the shayla of the stipler? To go into Bezdin. The bacher says he wants to break the shidduch. The girl is not accepting the breakup. She says, who's going to take care of him as well as I do? I'm going to, because I love him too. I'll take care of him. Nobody will take care of him as good as me. And if Hashem did that, that means he feels that that's my lot. That's on my plate. I'm not backing off. I'm sorry. So the stipler thought, and he said, let them get married, and they should help him. Now, what was his basis? His Krovim asked him, he's ruining the girl's life. He says, no, I'm not ruining her life. You'll see, he'll be healed, he'll be okay. On smach what? On what basis? And he said the Gemara, the story with Alexander Moikdoin, and he went to the Melech of Katzia, and he took over land after land, country after country. And the Melech of Katzia says, I'm going to fight him, me little guy, so me little kingdom. So he went out to greet him with money, and he said, look, let's make a peace treaty. I'll be totally submissive to you. I'll surrender to you, but don't kill me out and don't take over. Let me. So he said, no, I didn't come to take you over. Calm down. So what did I come? I wanted to see I heard that you judge people very well. I want to see how you do. So he says, fine. And it comes over, he's attacked the middle of a case. What's the case? The case is somebody sold a piece of land, a patch of land, and with the buyer found when he was digging Harish, he started to dig, to plow, to plant something. He found a big oyster, tremendous oyster of money, let's say billions of dollars, many billions of dollars. I mean, this is totally, it sounds unreal, but it was real. Now he calls the guy and he says, come down here, look at the oyster. It's yours. I just bought the field. I want to plow. I need a few, like a foot or two, just to plow, and the rest, So he says, it's not mine. He says, no, I sold you the field. I had no idea there's the money there, and therefore it belongs to you. So they went to the Melech of Katzia, and the Melech of Katzia says, the Gemara, so Alexander Makedonsky said, what do you mean? So he saw how he judged the case. And he arbitrated that. He said, wow, usually people fight that they want the money, and here both are fighting that it belongs to the other guy. It's unbelievable. So yes, do you have a son or daughter? He says, yeah. And do you have a son or daughter? Yeah. So he says, can I be matzia? Can I offer that, suggest? And he suggested, and they met together, and they became chassan and kala. He says, now your daughter and your son will have this Yerusha. Right, you give it to them, and now both are happy, right? So the Alexander Moikudensky, he said, "What?" He says, "What? How would you do it? What do you mean? How would I would kill both of them and take it for myself, not me, not you, not you. You're both dead wrong. Emphasis in the word dead, and I take it to the Melucha, to my treasure." Now, why would he do that? Why would he do that? I'll tell you why he would do it. Hashib Shah. Why? Because the reason why there's anti-Semitism, not the main reason, one of the reasons, you're goody, you're too good. I mean, you're making me look bad. You're making me look terrible. Yaakov makes Esav look terrible. Esav tries to get himself a very good image and a good name, and Yaakov pushes him out with just regular daily behavior. You're ruining my life over here. And he said, I would kill both of them, but you guys are too goodies, too goody. You're too precious. You're too loving. You're too caring. You're too just. And so, Motza Isha Motza Toif. We started this with this topic, and I want to end with, but I have to end with a different topic because it's the Shomer Shemayim, the other topic. Motza Isha Motza Toif. If you found a wife, is Motza Toif. And then Shlomo, that's one pasuk, Shlomo Melech. He found another pasuk. Shlomo Melech says, "Umoitza ani mara mimoves esa isha." So I'll give you one pshat, and then I want to get to the pshat that I want to say. One pshat is motza isha. If you already found the isha, Just like you rejoiced Adam Rishon began Eden Mikedem when you brought him Chava to him, and there was no other choice. He tried everything, nothing works, and Chava is suitable. There was no other choice, and he made it work, and he appreciated Chava. But today, if somebody comes and he found this shidduch, but maybe somebody else better, and he's always still constantly, he sees this and that, this mishpacha, that mishpacha. He says, oh, if I would only marry that person. Oh, yeah, if I would only have this family. Oh, and if I only have this place and this time and this, whatever, mazel. So if it's matzah you already found, this is yours, Hashem gave it to you, and make the best out of it. What's on your plate and who's on your plate is matzah toiv. But if it's moitzah, now, present, not past tense, motzah, I found already. Moitzah, I'm still finding, I'm still looking, I'm still in search. I'm still thinking maybe something more suitable for me, and not trusting Hashem, not having bitochen on Hashem. If it's moitzah, then it's marmi mobis esayisha. Let me go to even deeper, another pshat. If it's motzah isha, you're looking for the good of the isha, it's motzah toiv. In other words, you're caring about her. You're caring about true Torah love, not love of getting, about love of giving. In other words, investing in that person, and you love your part in that person. And the more you invest, the more you love the person. That's why babies, you invest everything, and therefore you love the babies as much as everything, as much as possible. So if it's motzah isha, I'm looking to fulfill her mission in life, and also I'm looking to fulfill, to fill in and complement her life, then it's motzah toiv. But if it's moitzah ani, I'm looking for myself, then it's marmi mobis. And how do I know this? From the lashon. It should have said in diktuk, in grammatical terms, it should have said moitzah. I didn't see somebody saying this, but I believe it's Torah Semes. I'm sure somebody has to say this. If it would have been moitze ani eso isha marmi moves. It doesn't say that. It says moitze ani marmi moves eso isha. Isha is secondary. It's besides the point. If it's moitze ani, I'm looking to fulfill myself. Right? Selfishness, self-centeredness is right away. I'm telling you, Shlomo Melech says it's going to be marmi moves. And then, how? Through who? Through the Isha. But it's marmi moves already. So, if you're looking for Yenim, then both will gain. And both will get the treasures and all the brachas and atzlachas. But if you're looking for yourself, chas v'shalom. I want to finish off. I know it's I don't know, 2 hours or whatever. I don't know how long it was. But I want to finish off the following. It says in the parsha, Yaakov goes to Choran and he's bereft of everything. He's mamish. So the Medrash says, the Gemara speaks, Chazal teach that Yaakov goes there. He had money and he lost all his money. What happened? So what happened was Eliphaz comes, right? And Eliphaz grew up by Yitzchak, Chazal teach, and that's why he was saved. What happens? Eliphaz, Esav tells Eliphaz, go kill Yaakov. So he pursues him, catches up to him, and he wants to kill him. And Yaakov says, 1 second, who was the uncle that took care of you, fed you suppers and whatever when you grew up? Your father wasn't home for you. I was there for you. Who's the one that taught you? Yitzchak taught you. We gave you all the attention. We gave you everything you have. And you know better. And Chazal teach because Yitzchak had patience, Yitzchak and Yaakov, but the main thing, Yitzchak had patience for Eliphaz. Chazal teach Eliphaz couldn't let down Yitzchak. What happened over here? So here's twofold and then a story. First of all, the machlokes, why did in Chazal, why did Yitzchak become blind? One pshat is because so that Yitzchak doesn't see, and Esau, while he went out to fetch food for his father, the meal. So the tzvi, a deer, Yaakov can bring, his mother can cook and prepare the food and bring it to Yitzchak, and Yitzchak will eat it and bless Yaakov. Now, again, in other words, Hashem is orchestrating this fact that Yitzchak becomes blind in order that Yaakov can get the brachas. So Esav can't have tinus. Hashem did that. He made him be blind so he can not see Yaakov and give him the brachas. Okay. What's the other shita? The other shita is that Yitzchak opened his eyes and in Kaviyachal he saw the Shechina, right? He went to Shemaim and saw the Shechina. And once you see the Shechina, Ki lo yir'ani ha'adam b'chai, the Torah says in Kisisa that a person, when Moshe Rabbeinu asks him, show me your glory, and Hashem says, no, a person can't be alive after he sees my glory. So you can only see behind. You cannot, in my face, you can't see. You can hindsight, you see. Before that, you won't have what's going on. And therefore, if so Yitzchak can't be alive. Now Hashem doesn't want to take him away. He still wants him to get married and have kids because he promised you're going to have children and descendants through Yitzchak, to be a Jewish nation through Yitzchak. So what's the only way to do is only choshev kemeis. Somebody that can't help anybody because he doesn't have the means is choshev kemeis, considered as if he's dead. A blind person is also choshev kemeis. A blind person that can't see, can't help anybody, so he's also considered as dead. So Yitzchak became blind in order to, and instead of doing away with Yitzchak, he should die. Instead of dying, Hashem made him blind. Now he can't see. If he can't see, he's considered that he's dead. And if he's dead, it was Mekoyim that he died. So he's not alive. Yosef says, that's my shita. I buy into the shita, not that Hashem orchestrated Yitzchak to be, so Yaakov should fall and Yitzchak should give ultimately the brachas to Yaakov. He doesn't hold that shita. He holds the shita that he became because blind is chashuv kameis. A blind is considered as dead. If Esav keeps that shita, tells Yaakov to Eliphaz, then you learned by here. You dreizich in the house, you kens Yudaya Sefer, you know that if it's Summa Chashuv Kameis, then only Chashuv Kameis too, and if that, so you can get away without killing. So Eliphaz comes and he takes away all his money, and now it's Chashuv Kameis, right? And now, how is that so? The teretz is that if Yitzchak, now, so who's this Eliphaz? We have to chat with Eliphaz. Eliphaz went and married the wife of his father. He lived with the wife of his father, a lowlife. Then he went and he had a baby Timnah, a daughter. And he went and he married his daughter. And then from the daughter came Amalek. This is Eliphaz. And Yitzchak doesn't throw out this guy. And the fact that he didn't throw him out, that's why he didn't kill Yaakov, and that's why this Klal Yisrael. I want to emphasize that. We have no idea. Many times you have to, if the guy is mashpia bad, you have to get rid of him. But we have to think very, very, very long and very hard. Before the achrayus, you have no idea what's going to end up. You have one kid, such an easy child, such a flexible. He respects authority. He doesn't question authority. They're very, very well behaved, very easy to get along with. And then later in life, everything goes bazooka. They go off the derech chas v'shalom, and the kid, the most difficult character, and they gave the parents a run for their money. They really tortured their parents in the first years of their life, and later they become tzaddikim and tzidkanias. We don't know. You can never know in advance. If Yitzchak wouldn't treat Eliphaz with ultimate love and care and respect, with ultimate rachamim, with mercy, if he wouldn't give him, just basically don't throw him out no matter what, if he wouldn't do that, Eliphaz would for sure kill Yaakov, and we wouldn't be around here. He saved the whole world by being extra nice. We have to be cognizant of that. And I want to give a little story. There was a guy, he was a kid in yeshiva, and terrible. I mean, he such a klotz cup. He didn't know what's b'chayach. He's a good-hearted kid, but he's very hyper. He had ADHD, the age like tenfold, 100-fold. So the Rebbe's were very nice. They understood this kid doesn't have Sitzfleisch. He's not the smartest, sharpest knife in the group, and so he made him as Gabi, send him here, send him there, send him all over. And then when the Spocher, when he grew older, he became, I don't know, first year Mesifta or something, and the Rebbe said, no, he's a tough guy. There's no such a thing. You running around to bring me this and bring it, go organize, stencil. No. You're going to sit and learn. If you want, you'll be a dummy, you'll be a dumbbell, you amount to nothing will come out of you. The kitzah, and he decided to fear Amarocha against this guy and to really double down, and he became so tough on him, and he embarrassed him every single day. He didn't let him leave the class. He couldn't sit, he was so hybrid, and he made him sick that he ruined his life forever. This boy was such a way above average energy and kind and outgoing and forthcoming. And he took that in his shoma and he totally disintegrated. It came out in nothing. And this bocher was tortured. And after that, everybody laughed at him, made fun and so on. So what would he do? He left yeshiva. No yeshiva can take it. He left yeshiva. He started to work. He was an ehrlich guy, came to daven, but he didn't have a life. He was tortured, and shidduch, no shidduch. The kitzah, he was alte bocher. Later he got married. But slowly he went to Shomrim. Shomrim, the red lights and the blue lights. Shomrim is the yellow light. No, he wants to help people. So he he killed himself, he tortured himself until he flunked the test, and again, everybody helped him. Baruch Hashem, he passed the test, he became a Hatzalah member. Not a paramedic, but a Hatzalah member. Enough to have an EMT and enough to, somehow he volunteered all the time, and he internship, and he got close, helped everybody out. They decided, even if he didn't get the written test well, but he knows the rules, he's very, very talented in real life. With the written test, that's not his thing. So they gave him an oral test, asked him the questions, what he knew, this situation, that situation, and they passed him. Now he's in a full-fledged Hatzalah. He's running to every call. He's there before everybody else. And the main thing is, he never gave up. What do you mean? The guy has to live. And he would pump and pump and pump and pump. He would never, and they knew it. So those that knew him. But those that didn't know were annoyed. Come on, whatever his name is, Yankee, just get up. It's over. I mean, you're 15 minutes pumping. There's nothing. There's no pulse. There's nothing. He's dead. But he wouldn't hear, and kitzah. So one time, they get this phone call, and he comes running. There were people there. They pronounced the guy dead. He's an older person. And he says, what do you mean he's dead? And he says, move over. And he starts pumping and pumping and pumping. And they said, what is he doing? They said, oh, you don't know him. This guy is a heart of gold. He's the biggest heart in the world. He can't. He's going to try his. I'm telling you, you can go away for half hour, come back, he'll still be here. I'm telling you, he's a strong guy. He's got a lot of energy, and believe me, there's nothing that's going to stop him. He's not going to give up. I know him. I know him for a few years. The kitzah. What happens is, this guy, he pumped and pumped, and after 45 minutes, he broke back a pulse. There's a pulse. Oh, there's a pulse. And then he says, and he got back, and the heart started pumping again, and he saved the guy's life. Another day, they took him in, they brought him to the hospital, he went for treatment a few days, and he came back home. Like a week later or so, he's back home. They make a Suda Seidah. All the kids and the Einiglich and the Ur Einiglich, and everybody came to the big house where I don't know where, and they invite the hero of the day. They invite him. He saved the guy's life. All that Solomon gave up. And they want to thank him in person. And now they call him, and he comes to the Suda Seidah. They sit him down in the front. When he came to the patient, he didn't chap who it was. Guy was white like a ghost. He didn't chap. The guy looked dead. But now they're sitting, the color came back. And the facial expression came back, and the voice came back, and he realized Nishman Nishweiniger it's none other than that guy that ruined his life. Rosh Merusha Letzeach Mamish. He didn't have bad intentions. He thought he can win that kid. There's no such thing, no learning. Everybody's got to learn. You don't learn, you'll be a dumbbell, you want to make something out of yourself. And he was going to burst out there. He says, no. So he says, can I have a word with you? And he takes him, give me some side room. They went to some side room. And he breaks down crying. And he breaks down crying. And he cries. And he cries. And the old man doesn't have. This middle-aged guy is crying in front of this old man in a room. And the old man goes over to him and puts his hand on his shoulder. They were sitting, and he gets up and he says, what happened? And he couldn't get back to himself. And he tried to calm him down. And he said, you killed me. You ruined my life. You know how many years and years I suffered because of you? He says, yeah. You remember that boy that you said he amounts to nothing? The whole year you make fun of me? He went out of his mind. Now it was his turn to cry. He cried and cried. And that solo member thought he's going to get another, heart attack or something. So he tried, and because he had Rahmanas in him. And he said, please come out with me. And the old man took the guy, and he came to the table, and they're both bawling, and the eyes were blown up from tears. And everybody's wondering what just happened. And the old man told everybody the story, how I thought I'm doing the right thing to bring him to par. All the Rebbe's didn't understand. I know better. You have to pressure more, and it's no such a thing not performing. And it turns out I told him every day how dumb he is. Dumbbell, if you won't learn, you'll be the dumbest guy. Only if you learn, Hashem will give you brains. And I pumped, and I didn't let go. I didn't realize that I'm embarrassing. I didn't realize I was ruining his life. I didn't realize how much he suffered. I was so wrong. And you know what I realized today? Old man, better late than never. I realized not that he had a small mind. He just had, he wasn't he was not that he wasn't a genius in mind. He was just an exceptional genius in heart. He just had a heart bigger than the whole world. And he cried over there by the table and begged him for forgiveness, and he forgave him. If you don't give up on the weak ones, you never know. Those weak ones will save your life. If you give up on the weak ones, that's the only source. When you thank Hashem and you ask Hashem and you do Leman Hashem and you don't give up on Hashem's children. If Yitzchak didn't give up on Eliphaz, we can't give up on Hashem's children. And if you have to put him in a different program because he's ruining everybody, whatever you have to do, but don't give up on Hashem's children. Hashem will say, you're saving your own lives. And from that schus, we're still around today. Thank you very much.